I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, would you roll call, please?
Mr. Bland.
Here.
Mr. Rosen.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here. And we're opening the meeting right now for our public hearing part for community development block grant and for suggestions from the public for 2024 projects. Is that right, Mr. Brett?
Yes. So,
Would you like to add anything?
just so everyone knows, the community development block grant projects are funded in a 3-year cycle, and we're in the first funding year of the current cycle. We would like to get our application in so we could use that money this year. So we have a couple of projects that we've kicked around. One would be to take some of that money and put it towards the Pat and June Memorial Park. The other option we have is to do some upgrades and crack sealing and things to the walking trail down at West Park. So those are two ideas that we have, and if anybody else has any suggestions, we would.
Yeah, I'll just comment real quick, just so everybody is on board with this. So these grants, what you stated is all correct, but these grants, it has to be in either a lower income part of the township or the, I'm trying to help. ADA compliance. So the walking trail at West Park would be included in on this because people go there and walk and then it's wheelchair accessible for kids and grown-ups or whatever. So and the same thing with June and Pat Memorial Park that we're putting down there. It's the same way. We got ADA compliance, playground equipment, and in and out entrances and exits that's accessible also.
So, but pretty much sums up what we can use the money for. So the areas are dependent on the census tract and whether it's considered low income according to the census tract. So,
Right.
If anybody has any suggestions other than what we thought about, we're glad to hear them and take them under consideration.
I'm just curious, how much money are you talking in the grant?
Last year we got about 62,000 or 57,000. We asked for 67,000 this year. And it kind of depends on how much money the county gets, that's how much they'll give us. But we expect somewhere in the 65,000.
Now, is this separate from the 50,000 you claimed and you sourced the fund?
Yes,
Okay,
that's already been secured. But we have to show that, we haven't got the funds, I shouldn't say that. It's been secured in the grant aspect of it, and our extension's been granted also, but it's separate from this. But that's specifically for that park.
so the two items that you mentioned, the only two items that are you currently as trustees and you are thinking about putting this money towards?
There's been other things tossed around, but nothing that we thought would either meet the requirements or do as much good.
Is there any way, excuse me, part of that grant can be put towards this temporary water station for these gentlemen?
No, it can be used for
Can
that.
be used for that?
I wish it could, but
As far as the jurisdiction, or I guess the area, so would our walking trail back in behind here be eligible or not, as far as you know?
it would be eligible because it would be upgrading it to keep it ADA compliant, not because of the income, but because of the ADA.
But I don't think we're gonna get money for West Park, here also. I think this is something definitely we gotta look into and get done ASAP, I believe. So, but I don't think they're gonna give us money for two different parks, same, project. I said,
The other thing that, anything that we do with the community development block grant money has to be paid at prevailing wage. So when you start looking at contractors who would do the work, like on the walking trails, it really cuts down the number of people that are willing to bid that work. So just one of the concerns about doing that project.
so we gotta leave the public hearing open until 3:15. So, am I correct about that?
And we can actually close it if nobody has anything to add.
Where's the water?
We'll get ready to go into that.
And we're gonna do that in a different section of the meeting.
We're gonna go straight into our regular meeting. We'll just stay fast. We got you covered. You'll know.
I just want to see you moving forward instead of stepping back. Well, we did get a lot of water recently. Oh, yeah, we get it down there.
So we can close this portion of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we gotta go out and come back in.
Now, this was a faithful, the first, this public hearing would be
We're
done
gonna do 15 minutes for some reason. Did I read that correctly?
which is kind of our estimate for how long we thought it might take. This first public hearing could be done as part of a regular meeting. The second one doesn't have to be part of the regular hearing or meeting, so we're doing that 15 minutes before.
Okay,
So we can go right into.
so we'll just go straight into our,
You already did work.
So do we need to close the hearing?
No, not really.
so are you here, Cindy?
I am pronouncing.
That is her.
All right, so our first step would be swearing in our fiscal officer, the city of.
Read it short, not like 10 words.
You've done this a number, enough times,
I'm
you should
sure.
know it by heart.
That's true.
Well, they're gonna get your picture taken.
He's done.
I state your name.
I, Cindy Booster,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
do solemnly swear to support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and will faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of physical officer of Lynn Township,
the duties of fiscal officer of Mining Township, Hamilton County,
State of Ohio, during my continuance in office.
State of Ohio, and continue to serve the term of my office. Was that right?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And my school, thank you. Thank you. School, you're all blue.
One more for good measure. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for another term.
We appreciate it.
I know, well, thank you. Sorry about being late. There was an emergency meeting that I had to attend, so that normally don't happen, but yeah, and it's all good.
Okay, we'll move to the administrator's report. Mr. Brett?
Well, first, I'd like to welcome Chief Schuman. And Matt, if you'd like to tell the folks here a little bit about yourself, can you introduce yourself? That would be great.
Sure. Stand up here.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Matt Schuman. Roughly 23 years in the fire service. I grew up in this town, actually down on Buffalo Ridge Road. So this was full circle for me, getting ready to come back and serve the community that so gracious to get me in the fire service to begin with. So I'll be available if anybody ever wants to meet or talk or call or whatever else. Talk to anyone. So thanks for the great opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you during this, hopefully next several years.
Thank you, Matt.
We're glad you're here, Matt.
Excited.
So, the only other item I have about the fire department is I had my first official meeting with the union representatives. Alex wasn't able to attend that meeting, but of things we want to work on, and our next meeting, I think, will be April 9th. I'm hoping that Mr. Fulrath can join us at that meeting. We didn't feel like the first one he needed to take time out of his schedule for, but nothing major there that I think we're going to have an issue with. We'll be working with Chief Schumann with that as well. So we'd like to get that done and finished so that we do it within the contract time that expires May 15th. So that's kind of the goal, get it done before the old one expires. Bulk water fill station, you have a copy of the final draft contract that's just missing the exhibit from Cleese showing the premises, the property. My recommendation when you get to that is that you approve it for the president to sign when we have that exhibit to add to it. Maintenance department, and most of you probably know by now, the park was closed this morning because of high water. That's probably not a surprise. They say that we're gonna, the Great Miami is gonna crest the Miami town on Friday, so we look for things probably to get a little worse before they get better. Quick list of meetings I've attended, obviously with our attorney Alex Ewing about multiple things. Western Hamilton County Economic Council. We had a department directors meeting. It went really well. Chief Schumann was able to make that even though he's not officially on board, and I think everybody was glad to get to meet him. So he kind of made the meeting an easy meeting for our first department directors meeting. Let's see, I met with the Port Authority of Greater Cincinnati just for a general discussion on properties in the township that Chevron owns, and also we spoke a little bit about the Miami Port property and where that may go. They were surprised to hear that they realized that Mr. Robinson works for Warren Davidson, and Warren's office is keeping in contact with Duke about that facility. So they were happy to hear that, and they'll be keeping in touch with us on what we could possibly see for redevelopment there. Let's see. I attended the Ohio Auditors Local Government Officials Conference last week. Sat through the ethics class, got my Sunshine Law certificate updated, and got some good information on grant writing at a session on that. I met with the property owner down on Bridgetown Road that had the skid steer that sunk into the abyss, and talked with him about this property, cleaning it up, and he indicated to me that he's planning on having a graduation party for his two sons in the next couple months, and that he will have the property cleaned up, seeded, and looking good by then. Or not only will we be on it, but his wife will be on it. So we'll keep up with him on that. If he does what he said he'd do, we'll all be happy. The neighbors will be happy. We had a couple other nuisance complaints that we're dealing with, but that was probably the worst one. If you've been by, he does have the skid steer out of the home. Unfortunately, it won't run because of the water damage and mud. Let's see. And Mark Rosenberger and I had multiple calls and meetings on the Pat June Memorial Park. That pretty well sums that up. Upcoming meetings, we worked out the next fire department union contract meeting. And this afternoon, the Durango Green Homeowners Association is having a Zoom meeting that I'll be sitting in on. That's all I have for you.
Where are we?
Contract with please.
Yeah, we want to go straight into that.
I think so. The latest, I left the latest change, which just included it on page 2 of the lease. And this was something that Mayor Burkholz asked for. Kevin agrees to install and maintain a self-service kiosk for the purposes of tendering payment for the purchase of water to police water department. So that works out really well for us because they already have a credit card system to accept payments. So all we have to do is give folks access to the kiosk, and then please, we'll set the rate. We won't have to. We collect the money. We have a charge that we charge for collecting the money, and then please have the charge for processing it. This will just make it cleaner. It'll be one transaction. There won't be a middleman in it, and the fiscal officer at the village of Cleve will have to deal with the credit card payment.
I want to do that.
But as opposed to the fiscal officer here having to deal with it and the police. So everything else, pretty much boilerplate. I know you guys have seen this before, but I don't think there's any.
And Chuck want me to pass it on that if the board approves this, the council will not see it until, they will not see it and vote on it until next Wednesday.
Right.
So he's gonna want me to remind you guys, yes.
Yeah. It's probably better that they sign it first anyway, but either way, once we approve it, you can sign it anytime. You can go to their meeting and sign it at the same time.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. Is there any discussion about the lease contract with police, the water filling station?
It's for $1 a year for 30 years, so it's not like they're gonna run us off next year after we spend the money to put this in.
Do you guys hear that?
I wouldn't buy it.
What?
I ain't buying it. You know, the same as I do, we've been down this road, you're gonna stick money in Cleves and you're pissing it away. I guarantee it.
We're opening this water filling station for you. That's what we're doing. We're signing a lease for 30 years. You on board with this?
Yeah, we'll put it in after the maintenance building, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're allowed to use it from 4:30 to 9:30.
Yep, well, I always get for you and over the weekends.
Yeah, and that's what you said.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Permitted use is right on page 2. I'm sorry, what? Not permitted use time is right on page 2. You're 30 to 9. 8 AM to 7 PM, Saturday, Sunday. So that's what they asked for. That's what they've got. So they've got. You got any discussion?
Well, all I'll say is that I know there's been a lot of discussion about where this should be located. I don't know that I think it's the best spot that it could be, but we've talked at length with these residents and I want to get them water as soon as possible. So I'm going to support this because I think that we need to try to resolve this and get some water to those folks. But yeah, whether it's the best spot or not, I'm just gonna let that go, but I'm gonna support it.
The water filling station, I think it's been there for 50 years, hasn't it? The water, that's been there for 50 years.
Currently, it's been there 50
At
years.
least 50 years.
Yeah,
You got any comments? Okay. So we need to make, do we have a resolution for this? We just need
So
to.
in the motion to enter into the lease agreement.
I'll make a motion that we enter into the lease agreement with the Village of Cleves for the water filling station as described in our lease agreement at this point. Should we need it? 3, 4, 5, 6 pages long. I will second.
Mr. Bullring?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, do we need to go to new business?
I don't have any other old business, so yeah.
Okay.
I got it. Hey, what's the guy doing with the Bobcat? Skip's here.
He has it out of the hole. It won't run. Please,
Is it for sale?
I don't know.
Stop and talk to him.
Who is it?
He's right there on Bridgetown across the street, across from the church, right on the curb. You can't miss it. Big tore up front yard. It's still sitting there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I need that about it.
Yep, stop it. He's working from home a lot, so he was hoping to to have that out of there, get some work done this week, but with the rain, I don't think he's gonna get anything done.
Yeah,
So,
swamping.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the employee assistance program,
The thought on having the employee assistance program, started with the fire department because there's a grant out there for, wellness for firefighters. What this would do is offer, a wellness management program, and basically, for our firemen, it could be anything from personal to at home to things that they see on the job that they need somebody to talk to. You know, a lot of times our firefighters, more as EMTs, see things that, the rest of the world doesn't want to see. And, sometimes it's hard for them. And quite honestly, firemen aren't the best at opening up about that to other firemen. So this would give them somebody to go talk to professionally and, discuss how they're feeling. Also covers their family. I've been an advocate for programs like this because we see a lot, and this comes from my experience with the Board of Health. We see a lot of kids nowadays that are bullied at school and take things that are said on social media to heart. There's a large increase in youth suicide. So this would give them somebody that the parents can send them to go talk to and things. And I really feel like that's something that's important to our employees because whether they see something or whether they have a problem at home and their kids have a problem, if they're concentrating on that, which you can't blame them if they're thinking about their kids, you know, when they're coming to work, they're not 100% here for us. They're not 100% here for the community. So for not a lot of money, we can offer some services for them to help them be in a better space when they come to work. If something happens at work, it helps them get past that. I'm guessing Matt would tell you that every fireman out there has one or two things that they remember every detail on for years. And, you know, I have mine. Yeah. So, I just think our cost for this for all employees, including part-time, would be about $378 a year, or a month rather. And I just think it would be money well spent for the well-being of our employees. This particular program is administered through Tri-Health. A lot of fire departments use this. So it was their recommendation that we go with this.
okay, we have a motion for the board. Actually, I just have one quick question on the pricing. Is there, like this $378 a month, is that pretty much all inclusive of the programs or is there stuff that's not included?
Well, I was recommending the first line counseling session, 1 through 8 at $551. That includes all of those services. And the nice thing about this is the 8 counseling sessions is per incident. So if you have something and you go through 8 counseling sessions and then something else happens later in the year, it's not like you only got 8, you get 8 more. Also, if you start this with somebody and you just don't click with the counselor that you're seeing, then they just wipe that one off the books and they start over again with a total of 8 with somebody else that you want to work with.
So we only pay as we need it, or,
We pay per employee per month, so it's
okay.
the regular life
Pay
insurance.
some, okay.
You'll be paying however many employees we end up with.
551 times whatever,
That's
and this is every employee.
every, yeah, part-time, full-time. So
Okay,
trustees, fiscal officer.
Right, okay.
well, let's say we have a motion in a second before we go any further. Then we can
It's about
discuss it.
300 a month.
We'll need a second.
Huh? Is that what you came up with?
375.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion that this conversation of this, culture, we want to approve it, and we'll discuss.
And I will second.
All right,
I appreciate you.
discussion stages.
I appreciate Mr. Brett's explanation. I think that it is, we are seeing first responders in general are struggling with some of these things, and I think it's a great thing that we can do to give the resources to our employees. So I wholeheartedly support it, and thank you for bringing this forward as a proposal.
Mr. Borat? I think it was pretty robust, so.
And I would, if I can just add, I mean, this also talks about fitness, and, I mean, all of this, so it's besides the, the counseling, for those who might not have it in front of you, there's a lot of resources here.
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea, so we'll move forward with we got a first and a second.
Okay, Mr. Ballred,
Yes,
Mr. Blanton,
yes,
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
So, and, Devin and Jack at the fire department are the ones who brought this forward to me, so they did a lot of homework on this, made it easy for me, and, I want to thank them for, working with our insurance company, Nest, our supplier, on what they could do for us with this, so.
okay, we'll move to this scrap tire cleanup day, but put in that request, want to comment about that?
So, first time I've seen it come out where you could actually kind of request scrap tire dumpsters
That's the first time.
rather than having to call in for a better description, I guess, beg for them for a cleanup day. So when this came out, I was actually in Columbus. Mr. Bland called me and said, hey, we need to get in line for these before they run out. Good thing we did, because they called back and wanted to make sure that we really wanted two, and I said we probably could fill four. So he and I talked about having this event down on East Miami River Road at the dumpsters there at the firehouse. It'll be easy for people to get in, unload, and get out. We just, because we had to pick a date in the application, we put in June 15th, which is Saturday. I just got a call yesterday afternoon. They confirmed that they are available for that date, so we can now put that date in on our website and in our newsletter.
We're having dumpsters delivered on Friday, right, 14th?
So you may have to deliver them Thursday afternoon,
That's
and they'll pick them up. They say they'll pick them up on Monday. My experience with Rusty is Monday doesn't always happen, but yeah, usually no later than Tuesday.
right.
So, but,
So this grant is being paid for through the Hamilton County Resource,
correct.
which is part of the recycling, is that correct?
Yeah, that, resource is what they now call what used to be the solid waste.
So it's gonna be no cost to the township that we're doing this, and I think it's wonderful. We try to get these scrap tires cleaned up, and we need to be able to, like you said, Mr. Brett, get that out in the newsletter. So all the residents know about it.
Yeah, we'll get it posted down at, the ballpark and, any place else that we can think, because the tires are expensive if you have to pay for the disposal, which is why a lot of them end up along our roadside. So, if people know about this, they tend to, my experience has been they tend to hoard them for a little bit and then get rid of them. So this is a good way to keep them out of the creeks and streams and alongside the road.
Water, mosquitoes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so monthly contract,
This is the contract that, you guys had discussed with them before the levy didn't pass in November. They've updated the dates to April, and, I don't know, Cindy probably can comment more on the
Well,
contract than me.
Right, when we came up with, just remember they gave us, if you can remember, they did a 4-year and a 5-year. And the 4-year I felt was better numbers and kind of stayed with our levy for 4-year, just when I did the numbers for both contracts, this one was a little bit better. So that's why we kind of, I thought we already approved the contract, but then the levy went down, so now
Yeah, so
I
it's
guess
just
we need to
updating,
redo.
updating the dates. Basically, the contract is the same.
And then we got an email from Dean yesterday that we have to get together and.
They're reevaluating the number of residents that we have, because the numbers they were using were off the old contract, and there's been some new development that needs to be taken into account.
Yeah, so we'll work on that.
Okay, so,
The price per unit remains the same,
Right.
which is what you'd be approving here.
okay, so we need to approve the contract with solid waste collection and disposal from 2024 to 2027, is that correct?
4 year.
April 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So do I have a motion? I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Mr. Valria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
And I can sign that in email back to them. So I'll take care of it.
Should I did not hear what you said.
So I'll be able to sign that and send it back to them, so it'll be all taken care of.
Okay. Sounds good. All right,
Sure, Kim is a copy of that.
She will.
Okay.
public comments? Anybody want to come up? If you want to come up?
I just got a question, how's the police going with you guys? As far as-
I can't comment on it.
Yeah, so Mr. Brett and I was gonna share that with my remarks, but, that's all right, but we're working on a meeting with county administration, here before our next meeting, and we will have an update more than anyway. We've been working on trying to get that scheduled, so.
Yeah, it's not easy.
All right, anybody else? All right, we'll go to, there's no need for executive session tonight. All right, comments from the board, Mr. Robinson?
I just want to remind everyone that Shred Day and Drug Take Back Day is April 27th. That is a Saturday. That'll be right here in the parking lot. The Shred Day is from 9 until 11, I believe. And so again, if it's a good time, spring cleaning, we do it every year, and it's been popular, so we want to make sure folks know about that. As was already alluded to the newsletter, Mr. Brett and I talked earlier, and he's going to send out an email to all department heads asking if they have anything that they would like submitted. We might send a request from the board, obviously, and I just want to make the caveat that, again, there's only so much space, so ultimately the board and Mr. Brett will decide what's priority as far as what we can get out. But if you guys have anything that you want to see in the newsletter of the next edition, please get that to him, to Jim. And besides the sheriff's contract, there's also working on another meeting with county engineer Eric Beck about the roundabout out here. So hoping to have both of those meetings for our next board meeting to be able to give that update.
All right, Mr. Laura? I just want to welcome Chief Human. I'm glad to see you here. It was fantastic for the township so long. Thank you. Looking forward to it. Ms. Ocean?
I do have one thing, we're actually, your second day of work, we're meeting with the finance committee, Tuesday morning to our second meeting to discuss the fire levy, and we'll talk about police levy, but we really need to. It's hard for us not to know what to do with the police levy when we don't know what we're doing, so. We got, as a board, we gotta remember, we need to approve it in June, we need another meeting in July to approve it, to take it to the board of elections in August, so we really have to come to you guys in June to say, this is what we need to do. Fire, I think we are pretty good, we'll talk to them Tuesday on the fire levy. But yeah, so that's all I,
Pretty simple, we're going to put them both on this year.
they're both due this November.
That's one of the big sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both of them, okay.
So they're both due this November.
So we're going to have public hearing in June, July or August.
Well, you guys, it's a process. You approve it in June, you go to the Hamilton County to be certified. Then once that comes back, in our next meeting, we have to approve it to go to Board of Elections. Then we send it, then I get to get it in by August 5th or something like that.
90 days before that month.
So, I mean, so you guys, there is a process to put a levy on, and sometimes it's like, I mean, we could do it June meeting and then second meeting in June, but you just don't know when the county's gonna come back and certify. So we talked as a committee and we talked that we really want to start get this approved starting in June.
So,
We should, maybe the fire, we could probably even start sooner.
The first part of that process is just finding out how much we're gonna receive per 1 mil, which we now know that because of the trash levy, it'll be the same, so when we ask for the auditor's office to certify that, it'll be easy for them because they already have the number for it, so. But they have, I think, 10 days to respond to that.
Yeah.
And, that would make it really tight in between first and second meeting of the month, so. We don't wanna miss the deadline because then you're just out, so better to be a month early than to be an hour late.
okay. So I want to welcome you also. Welcome to Miami Township. Welcome back to where you grew up, which is wonderful. What a story. That's awesome. That's really cool. We're glad to have you also back here. So, the water line. So I don't know if you walked back in. We voted on that. We voted to approve, not the water line, excuse me, the water filling station. We approved that. Pending cleats approval plus the, plot. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Along with the plot money. So it's in Cleve's hands now. They meet April 10th at 7.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
April 10th at 7 next Wednesday. And, the mayor, Mr. Burkholz, is gonna, present it to council. And then it's up to council from there on, okay? Just so you guys are up to speed on this, so you need to.
Now what happens when they shoot it down?
They're not gonna shoot it. They just wanted to make sure they were gonna make money on it, so
So
that was their.
I will tell you this. So Jim's done a great job on this. He's been back and forth with their new council. His contract's been revised probably 5 or 6 times.
At least, yeah.
So they're happy with it, we're happy with it, and I don't see why they would shoot. They're in the business of selling water, this is selling water. So I don't know why they would, they got the hours of the operation they want, what we want, everything's there. All we have to do is get it installed after this, we've already approved all that. All that's done already. So it's up to them on the 10th. So, and I agree that I don't see, can't hold me to it, but I don't see why they wouldn't approve it. I'll say that. You, Jim, is that a?
No, their new counsel, their solicitor has been involved in this with Alex, our attorney. You know, they've, the thing's been redlined and blue lined and,
So,
I think we,
And you still want to go in where it used to be?
let's go in there, you're gonna have access to it from the platform right beside it. We have plenty of, from the pool in there, turn around with the trailer and everything. Okay. All right, anything else for the public? That's all I have.
And does that have to go out for a bid, or you've already got a contractor doing it for?
We put it out to bid, 2 or 3 of them. We got one back from Mr. Nyer that were Ken Nyer funding that we've already approved.
And he's got a hold of that number and go with it.
I believe so. I
we,
don't know why he would not.
we have a different, setup to be installed. It, in my opinion, might actually be a little cheaper to be installed, but it'll include the in pipe for the fill station, the air cap that the EPA is going to require. It'll have a pump, it'll have a kiosk that you'll be able to put a credit card in. So all you have to do is pull up, stick your credit card in it. We probably have to have a number from us to access it. Stick your credit card in, dial up the number of gallons you want, and away you go. So it shouldn't, ideally, it should be very simple.
Right.
And
So hopefully this happens within the next weeks, right?
if they approve it, we'll. I don't know if you actually accepted the unit that I recommended. I'll have to look back at that. But,
We can look at it. If not, we need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. So, but I will get them.
Report on it.
Yeah, I'll get them
Also-
started on that.
Also, we're talking about water, so Mr. Brett and I have met about the water line on Ford Road. We'll continue to work on that. He's talked to planning development, Muhammad Islam. I've talked to him, so we're trying to move forward on that. Jim, have you met with Mr. Burkholz over that? I thought you had.
No, I'm meeting with Eric Winhusen about it,
Okay.
and then probably you and Mr. Burkholz and Eric and I will have to all get together on. Yeah, I talked with Eric about what I think would be a fair proposal for the waterworks and for us. And once he agrees to that, I'll be bringing it back to you guys.
So, and I've talked to him, myself personally, so what we're trying to do with this is get this not going, but get this accomplished and completed, hopefully by the end of June, at the latest by the end of July. That's what we're doing. We're talking about approved and moving forward with it, not all the way installed. So, but we're trying to get it done, okay? Then it's up to you whether you tap in or not, but this will get your fire protection, which we made a commitment to the residents, and you guys are the last ones to get done. So hopefully this will all be done within next month, okay? So that's where we're at. All right, any other questions? All right, anything else from the board? All right, motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, thanks, everyone.
You said you was.